Warm welcome everyone. In this presentation, we'll have a discussion on the topic morphology and varieties of mulberry plant. In this presentation, we will be dealing with the introduction to agriculture entomology, general morphology of a mulberry plant, varieties of mulberry plant, and the intriguing data about it. First, we'll see what is an agricultural entomology is dealing with. The term entomology is derived from two Greek words which are entomon and logos, which means insect and knowledge respectively. So, the branch of zoology or any biological science dealing with the study of insects refers to the entomology. Next, the agricultural entomology is the study of insects which are related with the crops and commodities. Generally, they are classified into two main categories, which are basic, fundamental or general entomology, and the second is the applied or economic entomology. The basic or fundamental or the general entomology deals with insect morphology, anatomy, physiology, taxonomy, and the systematics. And next is the applied or the economic entomology, deals with the ecology, economic importance, and the control of insects. So, why we have to study this topic under agricultural entomology means the kingdom Animalia is classified into 12 phyla, and the phylum Arthropoda is the biggest phylum of animal kingdom. More than 3/4 of the animals on earth are arthropods, and most of these are insects. So, under these insects, silkworm, a prominent insect, is the larvae of silk moth. It belongs to the class Insecta, order Lepidoptera, family Bombycidae, and species Bombyx mori. This insect is an insect of high economic importance. The silk filament secreted from the salivary gland of the larva helps in producing silk. So, this is reared on a large scale to produce silk. Next, interestingly, this is a monophagous insect which depends only on one species of plant for its entire life cycle. So, for this purpose, we have to study we must have a general knowledge about what is the morphology of a mulberry plant and what varieties of mulberry plants are cultivated in order to rear the silkworms. Next, the morphology of a mulberry plant. Talking about the origin of mulberry plant, it is a native to the northern hemisphere and especially Himalayan foothills. And I have included the classification. You can have a look over it. Next, the general description of a mulberry plant. Usually, like all plant species, this also have a distinct stem, a root, buds, leaf, inflorescence, flower, fruit, and seed. The general description about mulberry plant is mulberries are fast growing when young and can grow to 25 meters, that is 79 feet tall. Mulberry trees are perennial and they live for a number of years either in a cultivate or wild conditions. Depending on the type of cultivation, the plant is grown either as a bush, a tree, or a mudling. Next, about the habit, the stem, it is the aerial portion of the plants which supports the foliage of the plant. So foliage, it is nothing but it is the collection of all leaves and branches present in the plant. So this stem, it is divided into two main structures, namely the nodes and the internodes. The color of the bark of the stem varies from green, pink, or brown with numerous lenticels. So lenticels, it is nothing but they are referred to as the raised pores which are present in the stem of a woody plant that allows in gas exchange between the atmosphere and the internal tissues. Most of the branches are erect, but sometimes they are also trailing. So trailing mean plants having long stems, they hang downward and they rest on the ground. Next, it is the root. So coming to the root has three main structures like taproot and the lateral root and the root hairs. So this hair, the special feature about it is only confined to the top of the root, and this helps in absorbing water and nutrients from the soil. Next is the root surface. It has many lenticels which perform the respiration of roots. Next, the lateral and the taproots transport and preserve water and nutrients. In general, depending upon the soil condition, these roots can penetrate to a depth of about 10 to 50 meters. Next is the buds. Buds, each axilla of a leaf has a bud. The axillary buds are green in color, which turn to brown on later stage. These buds are of two types, namely vegetative and reproductive buds. Mainly, the vegetative parts arise from the vegetative buds, and the reproductive parts arise from reproductive buds. So here in the slide, I have included the picture of an axillary bud. When you look deep into it, the axilla region will be present. Which is nothing but it is the angle between the leaf and the stem of a plant where an axillary bud is located. Next is the leaf. Leaf, it is the plant part which is fed to the silkworms. So, the most economic unit in sericulture, in sericulture industry, is the leaf part. As this serves as the main food for silkworms. The leaves contain all the nutritive substances to produce cocoons. Next, these leaves have a glossy texture or scabrous. Glossy texture mean they will be having a lustrous appearance. It will be glowing and shining, and they can reflect the sunlight. And scabrous mean it is somewhat rough to touch. Next is the leaves may be simple, alternate, stipulate, petiolate, and entire or variously lobed. In the following slide, I have included the picture of an alternate leaf. And first is the typical alternate leaves, and next is the stipulate. This part, it is the small outgrowth on the base of the leaf on the stalk. Next, the shape of the leaf may be ovate or ovate cordate. Ovate cordate is nothing but the shape of the leaf will be wider at the base and it tapers towards the apex. And ovate cordate means typically it is the heart shaped leaf. Next is the thickness. The thickness will be around 100 to 200 nanometer, and the leaf tip may be of four types, namely acute, double acute, acuminate, long acuminate. Next, leaf margin may be serrate, dentate, dentate serrate, or serrate dentate. I have also included the pictures in this slide. You can have a look over it. Next is the inflorescence. So inflorescence generally mean it is the arrangement of flowers on a floral axis. This inflorescence in mulberry leaf maybe it is termed as catkin or spike in case of monoecious or dioecious. So catkin, it is nothing but the modified racemose type, and it will be having only the unisexual flowers. So in this diagram we will be seeing only the male catkin is present with one flower, which is the male, and the female catkin will be having only the female flowers. So this type of inflorescence in mulberry, it is referred to as catkin. Next, it is axillary and branched in certain cases, and usually they are in clusters. The male catkin will be longer than the female one, measuring 2.5 to 5 centimeter long. Next, the female catkin is auxiliary in position, measuring about 1.5 to 3.5 centimeter long. Next is the flower. So I have already said the inflorescence will be having only the unisexual flowers, and this consists of 4 perianth leaves. So perianth is nothing but it is the non-reproductive part, which is the accessory sterile part of the flower, consisting of the floral leaves surrounding the androecium and the gynoecium. Next, this perianth leaf, it is arranged in 2 folds with imbricate estivation. So imbricate estivation is nothing but the margins of sepals and the petals overlap each other in a regular manner, so that in a regular manner, without specific parts like sepals and petals. Next, the female flower and the male flower. The male flower, it is loosely attached to the peduncle. The peduncle, it is nothing but the stalk of a flower, and the stamens will be 4 in number, and this will be arranged opposite to the perianth leaf, and the filaments of stamen, they bend inward, and the pollen grains are round to see. They are dry, light and dust-like with smooth exine. Next is the fruit. The minute flowers are borne in tight catkin clusters. Each fruit develops from an entire flower cluster and is formally known as multiple fruit. About 2 to 3 centimeters, nearly 1 by 4 to 1 by 4 inches long. The immature fruits of a mulberry are white, green or pale yellow in color, which on ripening turns pink to red. On full ripening, this turns to dark purple or black and has a sweet taste. The shape of the fruit is ovoid to subglobules in shape. The seed of a mulberry plant is oval shaped with flat surface at the micropyle region, and the seed coat has 2 layers, namely the outer hard and brittle testa and the inner tegmenta. Next, we'll talk about what are the various species of mulberry plant which are present and are being cultivated. So nearly there are about 68 species of genus Morus. The different varieties are as follows: irrigated varieties convert to MR2, semi-irrigated varieties convert to MR2, rain-fed varieties S13, S34, S135 and S175 varieties. The plant species which are grown throughout India include Morus alba, Indica, latifolia, nigra, and in Himalayan region Morus levigata serrata. In use, only local varieties with yield potential of 100 tons per hectare were cultivated by adapting different conditions. Most of the Indian varieties belong to Morus indica, as it is grown extensively as a food plant for mulberry. So first is the Morus levigata. It is a tree species in the mulberry family Moraceae. In wild and cultivated condition, it is found in Indus Valley to Assam. The bark of the plant is grey or greyish brown, and the leaves are integral or rarely lobate. Morris serrata. The first picture is a typical a photograph of Morris serrata plant. It is a large deciduous tree growing to 20-meter tall, and it is also known by the name Himalayan mulberry. Next is the Morris alba. The second picture, it is the typical diagram of a Morris alba leaf. Next, it grows to a height of 15 meters, and it is commonly cultivated in Punjab and Himalayas for timber and fruits. The bark of the Morris alba is grayish brown or brown, and the leaves is thin, integral, and lobate. Next is Morus indica. This is an important species among which a wide variety of them are cultivated extensively throughout India in order to feed the silkworms. So this is found in Kashmir, Sikkim, Himalayas, Bengal, Assam, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Mainly it is grown as bushes. Some of other cultivated forms mostly belonging to Morus indica are Azamabola, Mysore local, Dar local, Berhampur local, Kanbatu, Sujanpur 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Next, the local cultivar. The example of a local cultivar is Mysore local or Natukadi. The architecture of leaves is bushes open type, branches simple vertical and dark greenish, leaves smooth, both lobed and unlobed types occurring on the same plant, heterophyllous, alternately or spirally arranged, ovate to broadly ovate, palmately veined and membrane-like. The leaf yield will be 8,000 kg and 25,000 kg or obtained under rain-fed and irrigated conditions. Next, the rooting ability. It is deep and intensive, which is an important feature around greater than 90%, and the flowers are monoecious. Origin local cultivar, once extensively cultivated in Karnataka. Next is the improved cultivar, Kanvatu or Mysore 5. The architecture is bushes open type, branches simple erect grayish green, leaves simple unlobed, alternately or spirally arranged, ovate to broadly ovate, palmately veined, smoothly and leathery. Origin is the selection from natural variability. Leaf yield 30,000 to 35,000 kg per hectare per year, and the rooting is high rooting ability around 80%. Flower is unisexual, disease resistant, resistant to leaf spot, moderately resistant to leaf rust and powdery mildew. So palmately veined I have mentioned. So it is a venation pattern where several secondary veins arise from a main vein from the base of the top. Several main veins project from the base of the leaf. So next, in disease resistant leaf rust, it is typically a fungal disease which affects the stem and the leaves of the mulberry plant. The causative organism is Pusinia triticina, and this makes the plant to look an orange to brown pustules on the upper surface of leaves. Next is the powdery mildew. So this is characterized by the appearance of spots or patches of white to greyish talcum powder like growth on the leaves. That's all. Next is the high yielding varieties. Mostly the S series of varieties were evolved from the true breeding with collegial mulberry 8 variety by treating with ethyl methyl sulfonate. These new varieties are known to give more yield than M5 or Mysore local. Examples are S36. So it is high in nutritive quantity and it is recommended for young age silkworm rearing. The architecture is bushes open type, branches simple vertical, greenish grey with soft internodes. Short internodes, leaves green, simple, unlobed, alternately or spirally arranged, broadly ovate, palmately veined, smooth and coriaceous. Coriaceous is nothing but the leaves will be having a leathery texture. The leaf yield is 40,000 to 42,000 kgs per hectare per year. The rooting ability is moderate and it is greater than 50%. The flowers are monoecious and the disease resistance is tolerant to leaf spot and powdery mildew, and it is moderately susceptible to leaf rust and tukra infestation. The EMS, it is the origin is developed through EMS treatment of Berhamapur local. So EMS is nothing but the ethyl methyl sulfonate. It is a chemical mutagen. This is produced in order to induce the random point mutation in plants. Next is S54. Its origin is developed through EMS treatment of Berhamapur local. The architecture is bushes open, spreading type, root good, greater than 70%, flowers monoecious, disease resistance, moderately resistant to powdery mildew and leaf resistant to leaf spot. Architecture is bushes open, spreading type, branches simple, rough grayish green with short internodes with lower branches spreading. Leaves simple and lobed alternately or spirally arranged, broadly ovate, palmately vein, smooth and caraceous. And the last one is the S41. The leaf yield is around 40,000 to 45,000 kilograms per hectare per year can be obtained. The varieties of rain-fed conditions are S34 and S13. It is recommended one for black cotton soils. Architecture is leaves large, unlobed and dark green with high moisture content. This is an important feature. It is a good moisture. It has a good moisture retention capacity around 88%. Leaf yield is around 17,000 kilograms per hectare per year. Rooting is deep and extensive, greater than 75%. Flowers monoecious, disease resistant to leaf spot and susceptible to tukra infestation. Origin is selection from polycross mixed pollen progeny. S13. Leaf yield 18,000 kg per hectare per year can be obtained under red soil conditions. Finally, we are in the present we are cultivating a hybrid mulberry which gives a more yield than the conventional ones. The typical example of a hybrid mulberry is the Victory 1V1. It is a hybrid which is produced between a cross of S30 and Bear C776. It is evolved at CSR and TI Mysore. It is erect and fast growing with large unlobed, dark and green. The leaves are succulent and thick with very high moisture content. Leaf yield is up to 65,000 kg per hectare per year. The variety has performed excellent under efficient farming system with high fertilizer input, 350 nitrogen is to 140 phosphate is to 140 potassium kilogram per hectare per year. And finally, I have also given some fun facts about mulberry and the mulberry plant and the silk. The mori species, Bombyx mori species. So silkworms or caterpillars, they are the larvae of Bombyx mori moth, which is entirely dependent on humans and no longer lives in the wild. So these silkworms are native to northern China. The silk which is originated in ancient China in 3630 BC, and mulberry leaves are the sole food sources of the young baby silkworms and also the mature ones. The mulberry leaves are the only food that silkworms can eat and grow. Silkworms consume a lot of mulberry leaves, around 50 times their weight in mulberry leaves. This is a general overview of the general morphology of a mulberry plant and what are the cultivated and the available varieties of mulberry species, which I have broadly described as various species of mulberry. I think you might enjoyed it. Thank you.